Um, how are you doing? Good, I hope, out there in reality land. I'm welcome to Game School. My name's Nigel, and I'm just going to be. I just want to sort of chat, really, first and foremost about games. I love games. I love playing games. I love watching games. I love the whole concept of, being immersed in a game to a point where you don't know what time it is, all of these things. I'm sure there's loads of people out there that are exactly like me, people that are more obsessed than I am, way more, and people that, just sort of just enjoy them, as and when. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about my journey, shall we say, to where I am today. And I was thinking about this the other day with a good friend of mine who does these types of podcasts for, quite regularly. And just thinking, well, I spend a lot of time in the car, huge amount of time, In fact, every time I'm on the phone to somebody, hands-free by the way, I am in the car most of the time. People think I live here. I probably would if there was more facilities, but anyway, that's a discussion for another day. What I'm going to be talking about, like I said, is my journey of gaming, really. So I was, I'm a sort of 70s, 80s child, so I really was there at the beginning of the sort of revolution of what we consider today gaming wise. So PlayStations and Xboxes and PC gaming. There are people that are playing and loving these games. That's all they know. But I know different because I was there right at the very beginning. So I've always had a passion for enjoying new games and just games in general. To be perfectly honest with you, as a kid. I was thirsty, really. My mum, I think I used to drive her nuts, really, and my parents, I used to drive them nuts with wanting the next game. I'm sure, kids don't change, do they? They always want what is out there, the latest thing. I was no different. But the difference was, I suppose, I was there in the early part of this gaming revolution, whatever you want to call it. The first sort of games I really did have were, these little small handheld devices, battery operated, or you could plug it into the mains, and really, really simple games, but quite addictive actually. And I think that's part of it. It's quality, and it's it's for and it's against sort of pros and cons. Is that it is addictive. Games are addictive. Let's not sort of hide from that. They are. And when you're a child or when you're a kid, anything which is addictive is probably not that good for you, to be fair. But hey, that's the way it goes. That's what you've got parents for, to tell you to get off that machine, do your homework, and all of the rest of the things they do. So I started really getting into these handheld machines. So they're all making them. I think they were a bit of a revolution. So all of the asteroid type games, Space Invader style games, and they were space shooters and things like that in the main, early on, that's for sure. And they were the only way you would get these types of you could play these were on these games. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Tried to always get the next one. Obviously they were expensive, so I couldn't have one like every week or whatever, but Christmases and birthdays, special occasions, things like this, when I was being a good boy, which wasn't that often back then. I'm much better now. And so I loved the sheer fact that you could sit in your room and just enjoy blowing aliens up or whatever it was. pretty different from what I'd been used to in the past. So games were quite manual. We all know, Space Invader type games haven't always been around. So I started playing these, absolutely loving them, and my mum and dad took me to an Argos, which was amazing at the time. Again, it was new. You just walked in, looked at something which which you couldn't normally get in other places, got your little ticket and paid for it and bought it. And what we did, we bought a Binatone sort of game console. So this was, had several games, like tennis, like a little two sticks and a ball that you had to sort of get past your opponent, whether it was human or AI. Good fun at the time, as well. And actually, that game is good fun now. It's very simple. It plays on just a little bit of competitiveness, but also, it's simple and easy to understand, use, and play, which is the mark of a great game, to be fair. So yeah, we got that. Had, like I say, several other different games on at different times. But what blew my mind at the time was it had a light gun with it. So it had a gun, which was a proper gun. It was all wired, but it was a gun. Had it looked like a gun with a silencer on it, actually. So it looked quite cool. So what you did, you shot at the TV, and you had a little a dot on the screen, and it would go different speeds, or it would go in different directions, and you get points for correctly hitting the target on the screen. Brilliant. Again, good fun. Blew me away. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And that really was my proper first hook into, say, the console or the home entertainment part of it, which I just thought was brilliant. I thought it was amazing. So, but I knew at the time, I did have this innate sort of feeling that something was around the corner, something better, something amazing was ready to arrive. And that was Atari. And Atari took again, these the Atari with the cartridge, what type of Ataris, they were unbelievable, fun, extraordinarily, absolutely unbelievable, brilliant. But I tell you what, this is my first one, and what we'll do, we'll finish it there, because I quite like the idea of keeping you on tender hooks. So we'll finish it there, and then we'll talk about the next instalment next time, which is the Atari, and what fun to be had. But I'm going to sign off now. But what I want you to remember is there ain't no school like the old school, and I'm the headmaster. So tune in next time to hear more from Game School. Anyway, adios.